I realized that, one of the things that I'm gonna get a lot from my friends and people close to me are a lot of questions like, what took you so long? The idea of making these videos has been in my head for a very long time, and I've never done it for a lot of different reasons. So I wanted to share 3 reasons why I didn't want to start making these videos. The first 2 are excuses, and the last one is a bit more real and personal about me and where I'm at. Although the first 2 are excuses, I still think that they're important because in this world of content creation and sharing ideas, I think that they're really important to address and probably very relatable for a lot of people. The first reason why I didn't want to start making videos is because of nuance. I, like many people that I know, have extremely complicated opinions on extremely complicated matters that don't just line up with one side or the other side. There's a lot of nuance in terms of why you think this thing, what your values are, and what your morals are, and your life experiences, and how they all coincide to make you the unique person that you are. It's taken me a long time to want to make videos sharing my opinions or my ideas because I don't feel as though social media is the best place to share those nuances and different opinions. And in fact, if you want more views on your videos and more people to like what you have to say, it seems almost built into the system that you would have to say things that are more out there on one side or the other to sort of get attention. My interest is in talking to people and sharing my ideas in the process of finding truth, not in the process of getting attention or trying to provoke or anything like that. It's about sharing wisdom, sharing knowledge, being wrong, being able to change my opinions and adjust and have a real dialogue and real conversations with people. From my experience, I've always worried that, people wouldn't be really interested in nuanced ideas and ways of thinking that are not in these sort of pre-described boxes. And in fact, from my experience, if you share one opinion that you have about one thing or one issue, then it's our natural tendency to put you into one of those pre-described boxes. So even if you try to be outside of that box, the way that people think and make sense of the world and make sense of the people around them is to categorize them like, oh, you're that type of person because you had this opinion on that thing. Whereas having nuanced opinions, it really allows for individuality and just allowing everybody to be their own free individual person. So I didn't want to make videos because I didn't want to be categorized into a box based off of different opinions about different things, and I wanted to be seen for the nuanced person that I am. Reason number 2 why I didn't want to start making these videos is because of the pressure to talk about different hot topics and current events. There was actually a period of time where I really was like, I'm going to start making videos and sharing my thoughts on different things that I find cool. And then as soon as I started doing that, the social media and the media landscape really shifted to where certain topics were coming up that were very, very important. People wanted to hear what you had to say about that and nothing else. If you have something to say about this topic or that topic, that's just cool, right? We don't want to hear about it. We only want to hear about X, Y, and Z at this time because they're what you should be thinking about. But for me, while there are many different current events and current issues that are always going to be happening, it's important to have opinions on those things and to understand how those events fit within your moral compass and in the way you interact with people. They're not the only things that exist, and everyone has different life purposes, different sets of knowledge, different sets of interests that help facilitate that life purpose. Some days I might like to talk about mythology, some days I like to think about religion, and some days I like to think about current events or whatever is on the news, but that's so infrequent that I'll even enjoy thinking about that. But I didn't really feel like, and I still don't really feel as though we live in a time where things outside of what's current are accepted or are interesting at all to other people. I think that social media and media in general prioritizes content that is about current things. And going back to reason number one with the nuance, you have to talk about current events in as strongly as an opinion as you possibly could, right? So both of those things combined sort of made it difficult for me to want to start making videos. All that is to say that as time goes on and major events happen and major current events happen and maybe these videos pick up in popularity or things like that, don't expect me to jump on every trend that's happening or every current event with an opinion or trying to sway the narrative in some sort of way, because it's not what I do and it's not a part of my life purpose. My life purpose is actually sort of takes the opposite approach to that, which is really pushing the way that people think in different ways, right? And if you want to think about how those different things connect to those current events, then I invite you to make those mental connections on your own. And in addition to that, I really do care about the current events and the current struggles that a lot of people go through. All of these topics that everybody's talking about today, I care very deeply about them. But the solution to those problems and those issues that we're faced with is a multifaceted approach that's going to take different people with different expertise to approach things in different ways. I found that lack of perception, lack of different ways of thinking, lack of connection with people, lack of connection with their spirituality, I found that to be an extremely deep issue that manifests itself in a lot of our current situations. That's the angle at which I personally want to come at those events. So those are my first two reasons, which ultimately honestly serve as excuses for the third reason. The third reason why I didn't want to start making videos is fear. And as you can see in even reason number one and reason number two, fear really lays at the heart of why I didn't start making these things early, and why a lot of people really struggle to make the most of their lives. And from before I was talking about finding those connections between heaven and earth, and a lot of the reason why people don't do that is because of fear. Even as that fear relates to those first two reasons, I was afraid of opening myself up to people in a nuanced way and it not being taken for what it is, and people having some sort of perception of me, But then I sort of realized that I don't really care what people think about me as long as I get the nuance out there, that there will always be people who understand that nuance and who appreciate it. And those ultimately are the main people who I'm trying to reach and to who I'm trying to interact with, to connect with, so that we can sort of be on this process of finding the truth. And then in terms of the fear that I felt with the pressure to talk about different topics, I was afraid that my friends would turn to me when I'm not posting on social media about what everyone else is posting about and call me out or something like that. But I don't know, then I just realized that there's really nothing to fear in that regard, because I know my purpose. I know what I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm supposed to be doing it in the approach, and no one else does. So if my friends or my closest people think that I need to be talking about these topics, or that that's my duty, that's my responsibility, they don't actually know my responsibilities or my duties. I know that. I know the change that I want to see made in the world, and I know that I have the right to act in a way that makes the change that I want to see, right? No one else knows that about me as much as I do, and no one else knows that about you as much as you do. And another aspect of this fear that I was feeling is for that life purpose itself, and that is a fear of failure. A lot of times we are afraid to live out our life purpose and to pursue it because we've staked so much of who we are on our life mission and what we feel like we're supposed to do, that what if we fail, right? Or what if we go down this path and we realize that that's not the path that we wanted to go down anymore. And we wasted all this time, or we wasted all this energy, or I was just wrong, right? Fear of being wrong. All of our life purposes and our pursuits, right? These paths are mutable. They can always change based off of our experiences and the different ways that we interact with the world. Our paths are always going to change. Our purposes are going to clarify themselves as we move along those paths. But the only way that they're going to be allowed to do that is if you go for it and you pursue what you believe your purpose to be at this time, but at the same time you're open and you're listening to the world around you as you interact with it and allowing that change to happen. If you let that fear of failing your mission, or that fear of wasting time because your purpose changes, or you realize this isn't what you want to do anymore, all that stuff, then all you're doing is holding yourself back on that path, when the path is the thing that's going to help you understand who you are, more so than just staying where you are. That's something that I've known for a long time and I've said for a long time, but it's taken a very long time to step into that and make that connection between that mindset and my actions. Basically, I got to a point where I didn't want that fear to hold me back anymore. I didn't want that fear to keep me static, and to keep me stuck. That I wanted the freedom to move around, to be who I am, and for who I am to change as I interact with the world around me and as I learn more and as I grow more, right? And I realized that, if there was some sort of power out there that was trying to hold me back, that's exactly how they would do it, is by using fear, right? To make me not want to go out and not want to be who I am. And I felt as though fear is a large part of our social ethos today. And there were some aspects of that really felt unsettling to me, that there's just this pervading feeling of fear throughout our interactions with other people and within ourselves, and that people like media companies and all these different things are using fear to hold us back from being ourselves, from sharing our opinions, from sharing our ideas, from being nuanced, from sharing our interests, and to even connecting with other people. And that I realized that the only way to change that is to sort of gain my own personal freedom from that fear. And the only way to do that is to just start doing these things that I've been making excuses about for so long. And that's it. Here I am. And so I guess the last thing that I'll say is that I hope that this also pushes you to think about fear more and the role that fear plays in your life, for all the good and for all the bad. I know that as I realized those sort of excuses that I was making that were stemming from fear, I was also understanding myself deeper, also understanding the things that I care about. I want to make connections with people very deeply, but I also care about what they think about me. I also care about how it's reaching them, right? And so the fear wasn't totally useless. It has helped me understand myself and the things that I need to get over in order to pursue my life purpose. And so I hope that you also think about fear and the role that it plays, and also the ways that it holds you back. I'll definitely be making more videos talking about fear and the role that fear plays in our life, because I think it's such a strong part of our ethos today that it's worth exploring. So that's it. The 3 reasons why I didn't want to start making these videos, but I'm very glad that I'm here, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.